and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. We got a great show, but before we start, I want to tell you about Golden Revive Plus. If you suffer from chronic pain, listen up. Here's a way to help you get real relief. As a fitness fanatic, I understand recovery is just as important as the workout itself. But whether you're recovering from an injury or just looking for everyday relief from pain in your joints and muscles, nerve pain, fibrosis, and inflammation, I recommend Golden Revive Plus from Up Wellness. This advanced all-natural formula combines 6 powerful anti-inflammatory ingredients, including a proprietary turmeric extract that's 200 times stronger than raw turmeric. All of this to address the root cause of your pain, reducing scarring, swelling, and tissue damage using the healing powers of nature to help your body heal itself. Formulated by husband and wife team doctors Josh and Amanda Levitt, Golden Revive Plus gives you real pain relief and better range of motion, plus better heart, eye, and brain health. Join the over 300,000 Americans who are already using Golden Revive Plus to get and stay pain-free. For a limited time, you can try Golden Revive Plus for 30% off at goldenrevive.com. Just use promo code TRUMP at checkout. Tonight, welcome back to the show, Editor-in-Chief of the Post-Millennial, Libby Emmons. Welcome back, Libby. As well as one of our new favorites, political commentator, Mehek Cooke. Ladies, what the heck is Mehek, what the heck? I don't even know any other way to do it. What is going on in the country right now? Things are crazy. I feel like in the past 10 days, we have gone from an attempted assassination of my father-in-law, the 45th and I believe 47th president of the United States. Certainly now that we're post-convention, the candidate that is the official nominee for the Republican Party for president, Donald Trump, we went from that into what I'm going to go ahead and call maybe the best convention that has ever happened in the United States history. Not that it's because I'm the co-chair of the RNC, but because you went there and Mehek, you can't overstate the vibe that we certainly had at our convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There was something to it that was really hopeful, positive, I would almost say magical. And then you quickly get into the weekend and all of a sudden, even though Joe Biden and all the people on the left are saying, no, Joe is in it to win it. He's here to stay. Mehek, he took to X, not an address to the country, nothing else, went on X and said, yeah, turns out I'm probably not going to run for president this go round again. I think my time is up. I'll go ahead and say it again. What the heck, Mehek, has been going on?
Well, Laura, I think it's very clear. There's been a cognitive decline of Joe Biden the second he stepped on that national stage during that debate with President Trump. So we knew he was going to go. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. For him to go on X and issue a statement, I found that really shocking. You're the commander-in-chief, president of the United States. You have the art and the luxury of putting a camera, even if you're not doing well during COVID, to address this great country. If you were truly behind the American people, you owe every single one of us an explanation, which really goes to the point, is Joe Biden okay? And is he still alive? The fact that he hasn't addressed the nation is shocking to me. On top of that, I think the timing was perfect. What Biden saw and Democrats saw was just a massive decline of his party. As you stated, Republicans were unified. They were together. You saw Republicans like Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, who once were running against President Trump, on that stage stumping for President Trump. So you're seeing a unified, the greatest unity ticket of all times. And I also think Democrats are imploding because of J.D. Vance. Remember, they've always claimed to be the working class American worker. Yay, America. They're not anymore. It's really President Trump's party and it's theirs to lose. And then on top of that, Vance's wife is an Indian American. We're garnering so much of these Asian votes, of Hispanic and Black votes. So the Democrat Party is truly imploding.
It is, Libby. It is a sight to see. I'll tell you what else was a sight to see was on the Sunday shows right after Biden announced that he was no longer going to seek re-election. You had the likes of Chris Coons crying on TV. You had Van Jones also teary-eyed saying things like, Biden's body may not be as strong as it once was, but his heart is as big as ever. Libby, they're constructing this on the Democrat side as though this is some sort of a selfless act, that Joe Biden did this, Libby, because he loves the United States of America. I am going to go ahead and say that is a hot bunch of garbage. And I'm going to go ahead and say, like Nancy Mace said to the Secret Service director, it's a bunch of shit, quite frankly. I don't buy it for a second. I don't believe for a second that Joe Biden didn't fight tooth and nail against this. Everybody around him has obviously been trying to convince him, save for, of course, Dr. Jill and Hunter, it would seem, that he's got to get out of this race. And he's been like, I'm going to stay in it, like the cranky old man down the street. Did you find it to be a selfless act, Libby, that Joe Biden bowed on out?
No, and I don't even think we know that he officially did bow on out.
Yeah.
Does Joe Biden know that he bowed out? I don't know that he does. I share Mehek's concerns for the president. Where is he? That was trending on X. Where is Joe Biden? No one knows. No one's seen him. He canceled all of his campaign events in Nevada on Wednesday. The White House said that he had COVID. We haven't seen anything since then. There's been rumors of medical emergencies that have been covered up. That's been going on for a couple of weeks now. I think there's been two big rumors that are like, what happened? You know, where's Joe Biden? What's going on? We know that he holed up in his house during COVID, and now he's back there. He's got a whole studio there. Like Mehek said, you know, he could certainly get a video word out to the American people. I have concerns about that. And I have concerns about how quickly they're pushing Kamala Harris to the front of this ticket. And at this point, like you said, Donald Trump is the only officially nominated candidate for president. He doesn't even know who he's running against, you know, which I think honestly gives Trump and Vance the opportunity to go out there and really stump on their own record and what they can promise to do for the American people for the next 4 years, because we certainly know that the Democrats can't promise anything since they don't even really have a candidate.
It's really wild stuff. I mean, you know, I'll tell you that I feel like 10,000 pounds have been lifted off of me in the wake of our convention. You know, you always want to have a great kind of launching pad for your candidate into the election season. And certainly that starts for a lot of people at their conventions. I was very, very proud of the team that we had from the RNC to put together this convention. Man, did they do an incredible job. Not only was the show spectacular, but I think you both pointed out the unity right now in our party cannot be overstated. And I've not seen since the very first day my father-in-law announced he was running for president, I've never seen this party as united as we are right now, and very clear about what we need to do to win, and very clear, I think, about what you're talking to the American people about. The things that people really want to hear out there is basically, how are you going to give us our life back? How are you going to make life more affordable? How are you going to keep us safe, you know, in this country by maybe closing down the old southern border, which we'll get to the borders are in just a minute, but we do now have the opportunity to do that. Whereas the Democrats don't even have an official candidate. It's funny because I got asked in a couple of interviews very contentiously by some media outlets who are not typically friendly to us about the fact that whenever asked if J.D. Vance, our VP nominee from the Republican side, would commit to a debate with Vice President Harris, if he would say yes to that. And our response from the campaign was something to the tune of, well, we cannot commit, of course, to any debates because we don't actually know who's running alongside Kamala Harris. This was last week, guys. So they got very upset about that. But here we are. They have no candidate. And then, of course, your eye kind of turns towards who is the obvious choice for the Democrats. Who is the only person who can inherit the money that has been raised already for this ticket, the Biden-Harris ticket? It's Kamala Harris. She's the only person who can actually use that money via the FEC regulations. She hasn't, though, Mehek, received endorsements from all the necessary people I think the Democrats need to be in their camp. I'm looking at Barack Obama, who did not come out immediately and say, hey, this is our person. This is who we're going with. It's Kamala Harris. She really does have a huge hill to climb if she is their nominee. I'm going to go back very quickly to her failure for the one thing she was tasked with doing which was being our borders are. Heck, she went down to Texas one time. She didn't even go to the Rio Grande Valley, where obviously the huge surge of illegal migrants are coming through. She has not taken this job seriously. It is under Kamala Harris's watch that we have allowed 10 million plus illegal immigrants to pour into America. Maybe I should restate that. Maybe she is taking it seriously. Maybe this was the plan all along to let these people in. I would like to know, Mehek, if it's Kamala Harris, who indeed is the Democrats' nominee for president, and they get to their convention and that's who all the delegates throw their support behind, how is she going to convince the American people who look around right now at their life and say, okay, so the person who is also side by side the current president and put us in the mess we're in right now, who had one job to secure the southern border and didn't do that, how the heck are they going to convince people that this is the right person to take on the job of president of the United States? Mehek, I've got no answers for that.
Well, look, Kamala Harris is just another Joe Biden, and Joe Biden did not immediately endorse Kamala. Remember, the first time he came out on X, he did not utter the words Kamala Harris. So this is a trickle-down effect of the Democrat Party. She is going to be the heir apparent because I have said this. She is the DE&I token. You cannot say no to a Black woman that wants to be commander in chief. So now Democrats are trying to figure out what that strategy is. Barack Obama is going to come alongside her eventually, and so are many of the other Democrats, because otherwise their entire base of this DE&I implode next to Kim Cheadle, the Secret Service director who should be resigned. But back to Kamala, she has done everything that Joe Biden has done. She has rubber stamped an open border crisis, which was deliberate. She had one job for the American people, to truly tell them you are safe and secure. She allowed an open border crisis. She allowed for over 11 million illegal immigrants to come into our country. She wants to decriminalize illegal border crossings. You know what that means? Lake and Riley and all those other murders, Rachel Moran, those would have been decriminalized, because if you're allowing for criminals to come in illegally and saying it's not illegal, then the murders, where is she on the murder of all those individuals in this open border crisis? She's also anti-worker, Laura. She is against fracking. She hates fracking. So Pennsylvania, Ohio, and so many of these other states, these workers that are already paying 20% more to feed their families, watch out, because she's coming after your food on that table, because she will not allow us to work. She will not allow us to survive and thrive. So it doesn't matter what bumper sticker Kamala plus the VP has, they are not going to work against President Trump's policies. The only question, I don't care if you're Black, Asian, doesn't matter what your race is. Look at the merit. President Trump's merit speaks for itself. Highest employment rate, highest security, and world peace. That is all we need in this country right now.
So Libby, I think about Kamala Harris, and obviously we want to fix the problems here domestically. We want to make life more affordable for people. We want people to feel safe in their communities. We want to fix our educational system. We have a lot of problems here at home. But then you look abroad, and I'm thinking about Kim Jong-un. I'm thinking about Xi Jinping. I'm thinking about the Ayatollah in Iran. And I'm thinking about these people having to deal with Kamala Harris as the president of the United States. And I was looking up, you know me, I go straight to my comments. Top comment on one of the articles I was reading about Kamala Harris. It says, this is why Kamala Harris is looking forward to the future of the future, which is a long way off in the distance, especially compared to the past that is behind us. And even the present, where we currently and other people are as well, while not forgetting that if we see things as they could be, even if we hadn't thought about seeing them in the past or even in the present, doesn't mean we can't with our own eyes see or at least sketch them out in a Venn diagram, so we create a pathway to follow from the present to the future. That's just about what you get from Kamala Harris. The point is, This is the person we're seriously considering leading the free world and being our commander in chief. What do you think about that, Libby?
Yeah, I mean, we're going from mental decline to straight up mental deficiency. Her commentary is a word salad. It's hard to ever understand what she's saying. Her catchphrase is that she can see what can be, unburdened by what might have been, and no one even knows what that means. But like you, I started imagining this morning, what would it look like to have Kamala Harris out there, not just with our enemies, but with our allies? How does anyone take this woman seriously? She has no track record on anything worthwhile. She's been widely criticized for the things she did do as a prosecutor. And when it comes to her big job of being the border czar, at the time she was assigned that role by the current president, wherever he may be, her office declined to, say that that was her job. They specifically said that that wasn't her job, that her job was to suss out the root causes of migration, right? In the Northern Triangle countries. And one of the things that she said after that was that anti-LGBTQ sentiment was fueling the surge of asylum seekers at the southern border. Not human trafficking, not, drug smuggling, not any of these things that we know are the big problems. She came up with her pet DEI cause and threw that at it. And have we heard anything from her since about the border? Have we heard anything at all? She's just out there on abortion and talking to her sorority sisters and, whatever else she's doing. It's absolutely an abomination. But I think you're right. The Democrats are going to coalesce around her, because what they do is coalesce around a stupid idea and then claim that anyone who doesn't agree with it is racist. So expect the race hoax to really start ramping up. We already had Morning Joe this morning claiming that it's racist when people mispronounce her name.
Does anyone have solid, how do we actually, is it Kamala? I say Kamala. Is that accurate? I don't even know.
I have no idea. Kamala could be anything.
For what it's worth, people mispronounce my name all the time. It's Lara, but I've been called Lara, Laura, whatever. By the way, that's the least of my concerns. People call me a lot worse things than that, so I'm never worried about it. But the question really is, how are they going to run a successful campaign for Kamala Harris? Because it obviously is going to be their nominee. How do you run a campaign on somebody who, by the way, public polls just days before Biden dropped out suggest that 30% of the public is in favor or think that Kamala Harris might make a good president? Only 30%. And that's pretty low. And then you obviously go to, what has she done? What kind of background does she have that would ever show that she has the capability and capacity to serve as president of the United States? And of course, we're all detailing nothing we can find. I assume it is going to be kind of boiled down to the fact that if maybe we're going to go back, I don't know, Mehek, to what we tried to get sold to us and they tried to sell us in 2016, you should vote for Hillary Clinton, because this is historic. This is about making history happen. This is about electing the first woman as president of the United States. And as a woman, Mehek, shouldn't we all want that? Shouldn't that be the whole point? Isn't that what we're trying to do here? Of course, I find it absolutely insulting as a woman, and I can't say enough, if you ever give me a job because because of the fact that I'm a woman and not based on any merit or qualification, guess what? I'm turning that job down all day long. Please do not give it to me. And I think it's insulting to women who are probably going to hear over the next 3 months that you should vote for Kamala Harris because she is a woman. The other thing is, okay, so what's she running on? Obviously, we know the two things that they have tried to campaign on, and I guess this is going to be their whole platform, which is January 6th and abortion. So how do you think, Mehek, either of those are going to play out as it relates to Kamala Harris? Is this what the American people want to hear about right now? What do you think? You might have heard Mike Lindell and MyPillow no longer have the support of box stores or shopping channels the way they used to. They've been part of cancel culture. So now they want to pass the savings directly on to you by having a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a one-product company. With the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. To get the word out, I want to invite my listeners to check out their $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, just $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. Their 6-pack towel sets, $25. Brand new 4-pack dish towels, you guessed it, $25. For the first time ever, the premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, just $25. Orders over $75 will receive free shipping. This amazing offer won't last long. Go to mypillow.com and use promo code Trump or call 800-624-3945 today. I want to tell you about Golden Revive Plus. If you suffer from chronic pain, listen up. Here's a way to help you get real relief. As a fitness fanatic, I understand recovery is just as important as the workout itself. But whether you're recovering from an injury or just looking for everyday relief from pain in your joints and muscles, nerve pain, fibrosis, and inflammation, I recommend Golden Revive Plus from Up Wellness. This advanced all-natural formula combines 6 powerful anti-inflammatory ingredients, including a proprietary turmeric extract that's 200 times stronger than raw turmeric. All of this to address the root cause of your pain, reducing scarring, swelling, and tissue damage using the healing powers of nature to help your body heal itself. Formulated by husband and wife team doctors Josh and Amanda Levitt, Golden Revive Plus gives you real pain relief and better range of motion, plus better heart, eye, and brain health. Join the over 300,000 Americans who are already using Golden Revive Plus to get and stay pain-free. For a limited time, you can try Golden Revive Plus for 30% off at goldenrevive.com. Just use promo code TRUMP at checkout.
Look, I think the American people are smarter than ever before, and we should not take the race or gender bait. That should just be off the table. And the fact that you had, again, Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle in a position of power as a woman and a DEI hire, that just shows you DEI leads to death. We had a death because of a DEI hire. So don't take the bait. Don't look at Kamala Harris because she's a woman, because she's Black and half Indian. By the way, her name is Kamala, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, she is just rubber stamping Joe Biden's policies. I want to move to what she stands for. She's going to use this abortion and healthcare platform. But let's be clear. President Trump came out, and this was historic. He not only pushed for Roe v. Wade, he took that decision back to the states, which means that states get to decide women's rights. States get to decide on abortion. I live in the great state of Ohio, and we had a ballot issue which decided and allowed for abortion. And we have to continue to say that as Republicans and educate people because there was so much fear mongering. As I stood there as a spokesperson in Ohio talking about abortion, I specifically had to tell the American people we are allowed to have access to health care, even if we're having a miscarriage. I had to raise my hand and say, I was a woman who almost had a miscarriage. So don't allow Kamala and this left to lie because that's all they're going to do. President Trump has been very stern on abortion. He has said it's states' right issues. And then moving to anything else she says, it is all going to be a lie. Just look at Joe Biden's record. Look at your pocketbook. Look at your 401k. Look at the fact that we can't take a family of 4 out to restaurants anymore because we're paying a 20% Kamala tax. That is all you need to know. There is no record that she can run on except for I am Black and I'm a woman. And that just doesn't cut it anymore, Laura.
Libby, we were told whenever she was chosen as Biden's running mate in 2020 that the reason she was chosen, not based on anything she's done great in her past, none of that, don't worry about it. She was chosen based on how she looks. And we are right now in a moment in America where we have just had an assassination attempt on my father-in-law, the current nominee for the Republican Party for president, 45th president of the United States. And we know that this man can do the job because he's actually done it before. He's been just decimated by the media. They have attacked him in every way possible. You've been given so much bad information, America, about who Donald Trump is. And I hope you saw maybe at our convention a little bit of the Donald Trump that the media has, quite frankly, hidden from you for the past 9 years. And we're in a moment in America where we're looking at a person like Kamala Harris potentially becoming, I mean, should things go the wrong way, as far as I'm concerned, president of the United States. I don't know how anyone can take this seriously. Mehek just pointed out she was a DEI hire, and that's what they were very excited to talk about when it came to Kamala running in 2020. How does she get around that? Is that not going to be a bit of a problem for her now in 2024, now that she's potentially their nominee?
Yeah, it really should be a problem. And you're right. Back in 2020, Joe Biden promised that he would nominate a Black woman to be his vice president. And there was really just one lady that was available to be that nominee, and he went for it. He said the same thing about Supreme Court justices, and that's how we got Ketanji Brown Jackson. So he's been very clear about that. Kamala Harris has had 4 years to do anything worthwhile, anything at all worthwhile. And she has taken this opportunity to do absolutely nothing. She talks in circles, as you said, she praises Venn diagrams. She has this ridiculous laugh. She laughs about nothing. Today, she had the opportunity to speak to the American people after launching her presidential campaign just yesterday, after her boss, supposedly dropped out of the race on X. And she was speaking on the South Lawn to NCAA athletes and praising them for their championship wins this year. And she said nothing. She said, Biden was great, and, let's be happy about his legacy. And you guys are all champions. And no matter what happens, we love you and we're proud of you. She said nothing. What is she doing? I mean, I understand that perhaps she's not going to be campaigning on the South Lawn, but show us any kind of initiative that you care about the country and have some kind of plans for the future for the next 4 years. She's giving us nothing. So, yeah, does she have to overcome that? Yeah. Has she had the opportunity to do that? Yes, but she has not done it. And 4 months is not going to do the trick.
So my question, and I think a lot of people's questions then turn to, well, who's going to run alongside of Kamala, right? And there's a lot of strategy that goes into this. Mehek, I said this recently. I said it on Sunday night right after this whole announcement from Joe Biden. We'll put that in air quotes because we don't really know. I mean, all the memes that have been out there, it's literally like, it's like the some person who's like completely passed out, and another person writing, and it's like, here's Joe Biden signing the notice that he's not going to seek the presidency. Because no one knows what's going on with Joe. So there's strategy in what the Democrats want to do. Because if we're being honest, these are not people, Mehek, who want the best person at the top. They just want whoever they can cram in there and win. They want to retain power no matter the cost to the country. Take a look around America. No one has thought that Joe Biden has been running the show for a long time. And it does beg the question, who actually is running the show? Who's in charge at the White House? And if you think it would change it all with Kamala Harris at the top of the ticket and as a possible president, you're dead wrong. It's going to be the exact same thing. So all they care about, Mehek, is who gives them the best shot at 270 electoral votes. That's what you got to win in order to win the presidency. And so who are they looking at? They're looking at Josh Shapiro from the state of, or the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They're looking at Mark Kelly, senator in Arizona, Gavin Newsom, of course, Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan. I've heard a Buttigieg thrown out there as well. They're trying, I think, in a lot of ways to do some math right now. And I think it's pretty upsetting as an American to look at the idea that they aren't saying like, hey, here's our best and brightest, and here's who we think will give the country the best shot. They're looking at it in a very strategic way so that they can get enough electoral votes, just cram them in there so that their people can win and they can continue whatever the heck has been going on at the White House. Is that concerning to you at all? Because I think about it a lot. You look at Donald Trump. This man has literally put his life on the line. He got almost killed 10 days ago or whatever it was at this point. And now he's got a record to run on. He also has a running mate who has the same vision for the future of the country, who we know wants the best for this country. Literal story of coming from, very, very little to becoming a United States senator. That's a winning ticket. That's a team right there who wants the best for the country. The Democrats don't really care about who they're putting up as long as they can retain the power, right?
It's always been about power, Laura. If you look, we have to remember one thing. Kamala Harris was complicit in the cover-up. She knew that Joe Biden was declining, and he was declining very quickly. And she continued to lie to the American people. You have interview after interview where she spoke to Americans and said that Joe Biden is sharp, he's doing well, he's our commander in chief, he's making decisions. Even after that terrible debate performance, she stood by him and lied to the American people. So you have a commander in chief now that is continuing to decline, who should be stepping down. You have Kamala Harris, who is going to continue to lie, because that is how she got to where she was today. So it doesn't matter who that second person is. They're only going to look at the math today, which, by the way, given that they don't get their jobs on merit, I don't think they know how to add. They're looking at individuals in some of these swing states that truly aren't going to move the needle forward, because none of the individuals that you named, from Andy Bashir to Shapiro to Newsom, ever stood there and looked at the American people and said, Biden needs to step down. He's in massive cognitive decline. None of these individuals stood and said, the open border crisis is leading to fentanyl death in my state. None of these individuals stood up as a commander in chief or leader. So we do not care who's on the other side of that ticket. We know what their record is. They have rubber stamped Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's incredibly awful record, and it has worked against the American people. So it doesn't matter who they put at the end of the day, Laura. I don't think it's going to work because we're smarter than ever before. We're tired of being deceived and lied to.
I'm certainly tired of it. Libby, any thoughts on the potential VP? Who do you think she might choose? Or I'm not even going to say she, because we know she's not doing much. Who are they going to choose to run alongside Kamala, I should say?
Well, we've seen Whitmer and Newsom, like Mehek said, they've been really making a lot of noise. You also have Joe Manchin out there, sort of saying like maybe he'd like a shot at something. I'm kind of surprised, though. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be, but I'm kind of surprised that they're not going to do some sort of mini primary. They are so committed to democracy, Laura. They really care about democracy, and they're so worried about threats to democracy that it's shocking that they're not going to let their voters, 14 million of whom have already voted for Joe Biden, make up their minds for somebody else. So, that's really a shame. Of course, you have Nancy Pelosi out there this morning saying diversity is our strength, unity is our power. So perhaps they think so long as they just gather round, everyone will fall in line, because that's what the Democrats do. They just seem to do what they're told. So I don't even think it matters really who they pick. They're going to pick someone where they think they have to win that state. So perhaps Whitmer's a good choice for that. We've never seen a woman ticket before. I don't think it's sexist to say that I don't think they'd really have a shot. So I think that she might lean towards some sort of white male to bolster that side of things. I don't know.
It is.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I wonder I thank God I don't know, but I wonder what it feels like to be a Democrat right now. Like what on earth would you be thinking if this was your party? I'm going to go back really quickly because I said something at the top of the show, but I just want to go back and reiterate how proud I am of the team that we had on the ground for our Republican National Convention. First of all, that was one of the most exciting moments, I think, in political history, to have Donald Trump just days after an assassin almost killed him.
That was wild.
Right on Monday night and everybody went absolutely crazy. And Libby, did you go to the convention or were you watching?
I did. I went to the convention, and I have to say I'd never been to a political convention before, and I didn't know what to expect. And I thought that the whole thing was wild and overwhelming, but it wasn't until I had an opportunity to stand on the delegate floor, which I did on Wednesday night, that I got some chills on Wednesday night. I went out there. There was a moment of silence for the Gold Star families, which was really just, it was stunning. Like the entire arena was silent, but it was the delegates on the floor, the people who do the work of the American people. The grassroots work of politics in this country is done by the people who are standing there on the floor, taking care of the Gold Star families, honoring our fallen heroes, really out there caring and knowing that they can do best for the American people for the next 4 years. And for me, that was the moment that really showed what's at stake here and what the promise is, and that there's the work ethic behind it to achieve everything that's being promised. There's a work here for it. So it was amazing.
Oh, well, I'm glad you were there. I know, Mehek, I saw you in passing. It was a crazy 4 days, obviously for the party, but for our family and everything else. I could not kind of overstate, I don't think, for anyone, really the feeling there. And I think it probably translated on TV, because I've had a lot of people since our convention ended on Thursday say to me, who watched on TV, they said, I couldn't tear myself away from the TV. Everything was done so well. Every speaker was fantastic. One of my favorites was a 98-year-old World War II veteran who said he would re-enlist if Donald Trump became the commander in chief again. My gosh, I'm obsessed with this guy. I think he's fantastic. But I think it translated to the American people. And then I kept thinking the whole time, obviously this is before Biden dropped out, but like, wow, imagine watching this from the DNC, who, by the way, these people have been absolutely horrific to me since I became co-chair of the party. I'll go ahead and shout out the $400 million that we've brought in. That's cool. Our convention, that was off the charts amazing. And see what you guys have on the other side. I'm very nice to them. They've not been so nice to me, but that's all right. Imagine watching this and knowing that you are up next, that you guys decided to go second, that you don't even have an official candidate to nominate. You got delegates going all over the place. Nobody knows how this is going to play out. Oh my gosh, Mehek, if I were a Democrat right now, I might just hang it up and be like, you know what, I'm going to either sit this one out, or I might just consider voting for Donald Trump after that Republican convention.
Well, Laura, I think Democrats are considering voting for Donald Trump.
They are, and they should.
Like these swing state voters are now coming at the droves towards President Trump. Look, I'll tell you, being at the convention, it was electrifying. I have never seen so much unity, but there was pin drop silence when President Trump spoke about the assassination attempt. I stood on the floor and watched people, grown men and women, weep. I saw tears as he continued to talk about what was at stake. And it was chills. I mean, I could feel it in the air. Not a single person spoke as he stood there and talked about the threat that he faced. And then for him to get up, put his hand in the air, his fist in the air, and yell, fight, 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 unscripted, unprompted, telling the American people that he's okay. And then for the RNC to come around him and to hold a historic convention. If you are a Democrat, you are seeing that your party is in disarray, that you have death and destruction on your hands, and you're wondering, is it time to now come to the party that President Trump has welcomed everybody? It's not just for Republicans, it's Democrats, it's independents, it's everyday Americans, because that's what we saw on stage, Laura.
Yeah, it's again, I can't say how proud I am of our convention team. They nailed it. They nailed it, quite frankly. And I think you're right, Mehek. There are a lot of people out there who probably have looked around and they've said, I don't know, I've been voting Democrat for a long time and this is what my family's always done, but something is obviously not working for me. And I don't want to read into it too much, but one of those people may or may not be Mark Zuckerberg, who even himself had to admit that after watching the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, he feels maybe a little bit differently. Here's what he said. He said, seeing Donald Trump get up after getting shot in the face and pump his fist in the air with the American flag is one of the most badass things I've ever seen in my life. On some level, as an American, it's hard not to get kind of emotional about that spirit and that fight. And I think that's why a lot of people like the guy. He didn't formally endorse Libby. He didn't go, but for Mark Zuckerberg, who we know had a huge and very heavy hand in the 2020 election, certainly with the money that he infused in that one, for him to come out and say something like that about Donald Trump, it kind of makes me feel like people are now maybe taking a second look at this man. I don't know how you could watch what happened to him on that stage and think that he's phony at all. You can't have an attack on your life and an attempt at someone taking your life literally like 90 seconds before and then stand up and put your fist in the air and not think and by the way, I know there are these lunatics out there who say, oh, this was fake. It was all scripted. It's a hoax. You guys are disgusting. It actually makes me sick to my stomach to think of something like that. But maybe people, Libby, have a bit of a different impression of Donald Trump in the wake of that assassination attempt and hopefully in the wake of our convention, because that's the point of the convention, is to maybe introduce a different side of Donald Trump that other people, maybe people need to see a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't think Mark Zuckerberg was alone in that estimation that Trump was a badass in that moment. I think all of us saw it. And it really speaks to maybe Mark Zuckerberg is having a change of heart as well about being honest and forthright and not perhaps suppressing conservatives on Facebook anymore, that he was able to come out and just, straight up say the truth, which is that, yeah, Trump was a badass in that moment. Trump has been appearing an awful lot more presidential in the classical sense that we understand. For years they were saying, oh, he's this and that, and he's too off the cuff and whatever. But he has been so cool, calm, and collected even before the debate. But he really shined in that debate against Joe Biden, where he didn't take any cheap shots at Biden. He just let the whole thing play out. He stated his case, and the RNC was another opportunity to do that. And I thought that he did a great job. He got the support from Republicans, and I think he may get support from Democrats as well, especially since, as you say, the party is in complete disarray. They have no understanding of what they're going to do moving forward, and they have no platform other than to tell Americans that the country is not doing so great and they probably, should jump ship or whatever. And Zuckerberg is one of many who is proud to be an American and wants the country to succeed, unlike Democrats.
Yeah, not that we're going to take anything for granted, Mehek. We're keeping our foot on the gas. We feel great. Obviously, coming out of the convention, there's this huge, it feels like surge of positive energy behind our campaign, behind Donald Trump. We now have J.D. Vance as his running mate. I think it's a great pick. It looks towards the future of this party, the future of the country. And I do feel like we maybe are starting to turn a corner. I reposted something from somebody over the weekend, and this is the post. It says, I just witnessed an attractive young woman walk into Starbucks wearing a Trump 2024 shirt like it wasn't even dangerous. Everything is different. It does feel like everything's a little bit different. Like people are a little more, I don't know if it's that they're accepting, they're a little more bold. I don't know what happened. Something changed somewhere in the past 2 weeks. And I like this change. I like that even though we're talking about a bipartisan effort to question the director of the Secret Service for an abject failure, where you almost had Donald Trump lose his life, and certainly you had a firefighter lose his life, a father and a husband lose his life. There's something nice that everybody's on the same page, and that there's a little less craziness with the politics of it all. Do you feel like we're in a moment that things may change, or do you think it's going to get back to craziness, Mehek?
Look, I think everything changed the day that there was an attempted assassination attempt on President Trump. We're truly fearless after seeing his leadership. He called immediately for unity. He called every single person to the RNC that was once against him. This is a man who is not only a changed man, but who is welcoming so many Americans. I no longer see people whisper, "I'm with President Trump," or "I support the police." People are wearing their Trump gear, and I am in the proud Buckeye state of Ohio proudly. People are so excited for the worker, the average American worker. People are so excited to proudly stand with Donald Trump because he stood for us. And he didn't just say it. Actions speak louder than words. Right. Donald Trump continues to show up. He showed up at the RNC. I don't know how you and the rest of the family said, "Dad, you can get up on that RNC stage," because I would have told my father, "You cannot do this right now. We need to have an immediate investigation of this Secret Service director. We need to make sure we knew every single pitfall before you get back on stage." And what does the Trump family do? They get back on stage. You just had a rally. I mean, this shows dedication. This shows that you're fearless. And this is why the American people are behind President Trump and now J.D. Vance.
Well, more to do, more to come. Crazy times right now. And Libby and Mehek, we appreciate you breaking it all down with us as always. Thank you both. And to everybody at home, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. We will see you back here next time for more of The Right View.
And I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide. and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great sell plan and feel good about doing it.